I'm going to talk about what I guess has been a little bit of a common theme running through the presentations this afternoon, but it's a fundamental one, and that is water. What we're talking about here, we're talking about the Waimea Plains. And to put it into perspective, less than 5% of the Tasman district is made up of what would be considered farmable land. Less than 3% would be considered cultivatable and high value, and most of that is in the Waimea Basin itself. That, coupled with the fact that we have some of the highest sunshine hours in the country and our ability to grow a wide range of high value crops, makes us very, very unique indeed. The one thing that we do need, coupled with our sunshine, is good and reliable water resources. So irrigators are concerned, people in town are concerned, people who use the river for recreation are concerned, and so we had to set about finding a solution. So the water augmentation was set up, and it consists of the water zone representatives from the irrigation community. And what is unique about this committee, or it certainly was then, was that we also included the two deputy mayors from Tasman and Nelson, along with DOC, iwi and Fish and Game. At that time we were given the mandate to find a solution to the acute water shortage in the Waimea Plains. It's a very diverse area, range of high value crops. After 11 years we think that we're close to completing our task. The thing that's important to remember here is that it is a multi-stakeholder group, and that the benefits are for the whole community. We started with 18 potential sites in the greater basin. We then refined it down to 3 to 2, and then finally to 1, being a dam in the upper Lee Valley catchment. It would take a relatively short period of time to fill, only 1 to 3 months. And the important thing to think about here is the enhancement to the irrigable area in the Waimeas. What we've done is not only looked at the requirement for irrigation, but also the requirement for water, and that is water for all abstractive users, which includes urban demand, principally for Richmond and also for industry. There have only been 3 appeals to the plan, none of them appealing the dam itself, but all appealing the provisions if there is no dam. And this is where it's most significant, because it would result in significant water rationing to everybody. And most importantly, this isn't just about irrigators, and I really want to labour that point. This affects everybody. Abstractive use, remember, goes to urban water in Richmond, but also to the industries between Nelson and Richmond, and an amount somewhere between 10 and 20% which goes into Nelson City to support them. We commissioned EDA to prepare some economic findings or justifications on the proposal. The GDP contribution of the dam would be around $1.77 billion over the period. I might add though that for an irrigator, one significant drought would soon cover the capital cost of that project. Not only that, but the capital value of the land could be significantly reduced if there's not reliable water, and that point should not be lost. Around half of TDC's rateable area is in the Waimea Basin. The point I want to make here is that people in Golden Bay or Motueka may say, or the lakes or Murchison may say, look, this project doesn't affect me, why am I having to contribute part of it? The reality is that the rate take is only so big, and if you can confine it into one area, that's fine. But if the rateable value of the properties in the plains drops, it'll mean that it has to be found from somewhere else in the greater rateable area. So, in summary, as I've said, the Waimea augmentation of the Waimea Basin does affect everybody. It is regionally significant. I estimate there are probably a couple of thousand jobs at stake just in the plains here. The number of people who travel out each day to work in the plains and some of the more intensive horticultural industries. To put it into perspective, some of the large glass houses, likes of MG Marketing, John Ewer's out at Blackby Road there, they only need to be out of water for nine or so hours, and they've destroyed 6 months of production. This is a solution. It is a long-term solution. When we started on this, we said this is a 100-year project. It's not a 10 or 20-year project. It's an intergenerational project, and it has to be done appropriately and correctly to benefit the whole community. So I'll leave it at that.